Alright boys, we're back with yet another ranger guide. We've been making guides for high level ranger for quite some time, so I thought to myself, why do we not dive down a little bit and go for the lower level ranger? What abilities do I use to level up and what abilities do I not use to level up? Because I, quite frankly, if I go to another class, I have no idea which abilities does anything, and it quite frankly always end up in not being too good. Today we're gonna go over the abilities here, which abilities you need to level up. The first one I advise you once you start a new ranger is to focus your skill points that you can see up here into your Razor Wind. Your Razor Wind is a very simple ability. It's not an insane damage, but it is decent. You simply just press E on your keyboard and left mouse button to fire it. It is that simple. You don't deal a whole lot of damage with it, but it's decent. It gives you a forward guard. It's alright. It's nothing insane. Down here, the Will of the Wind is another ability that I figured out in lower levels is doing a little bit more damage. I made this ranger just to figure out which abilities in lower levels does damage. Will of the Wind is another one. It does alright damage. It's not insane, but it's okay. You press Shift Q on your keyboard in order to fire it. And that's about it. You burn your mana, so keep your mana potion close. Once you get level 41, you need to take this evasive shot. This evasive shot is changing the way a little bit of how you play the ranger. Once you get level 41, you take it, because the difference, if I press D and left mouse button now, I just use my basic attack. That is nothing special. It doesn't do a lot of damage. In fact, I always lock this moving shot up here. I take this evasive shot here and things is changing, because now the blasting gust down here is my main damage ability right now. This one here you need to prioritize in level 41 and above. Whenever you get a level up, you're gonna take this blasting gust, because now I can press D and shift and left mouse button and I'm gonna do like this. Again, watch out for your stamina. This soaks your stamina like crazy, but it also does a good bit of damage. You can do it forwardly, you can do it backwardsly, you can do it in any direction you want to. The next ability that we need to talk about is the famous shotgun. The shotgun of the ranger is the ultimate charging wind. This one here is another one you need to learn in level 46. It is going to be one of your, again, the most damage ability you use. It's not the biggest burst, but it's like a filler ability you use after other abilities. But what you do is you take it and you can press spacebar after a lot of different abilities. Whenever you press D here and left mouse button, you use this. This is blasting gust, right? This is a blasting gust. Once you use the blasting gust, I can press spacebar on my keyboard in order to do the shotgun. This is the shotgun that everybody talks about with the ranger, and it does a decent amount of damage. It's not insane. It's not a one shot or anything like that. I can do it forwardly, and then I press shotgun and I kill everything. Next in line is the descending current down here. Descending current, as we all know it, it's the rain ability that rangers have. Don't take this before you can take this ultimate descending current. It is level 53 before you should start using it. Descending current at lower levels is quite frankly not very good. It doesn't do any damage. It doesn't really do anything until you get the ultimate descending current. You're gonna take this and you're gonna put it down on your hotbar down here. The damage on it on these two is insane. This one shoots once and this one shoots, I don't even know, a few times. The damage on it is going up once you can get the ultimate descending current. Next in line is your tearing arrow. I wouldn't start using before you get at least level 55 and you get the ultimate version, but I would honestly wait until you start getting the prime, because the prime ability is where your tearing arrow is starting to ramp up in damage. Other abilities, if we go from the top, and I'm gonna cover them really quickly. Pinpoint, I am usually locking. This is more of a thing that you need to experiment with later once you learn the ranger a little bit better. The bow absolute skill, I mean, once you have the points for it, sure, take it. The evasive shot, once you have the ultimate evasive, it's okay for now, but if you have spare points, sure, pump it up there, but I would just make sure you have this one. But spare points, take it, sure. Evasive explosive shot is our iframe. You need to take this whenever you have the spare points for it. In lower levels, I wouldn't touch it, but once you have the spare points for it, sure, go for it, take it. And you can go all the way up, and once you can get the prime version, go for the prime version. It's more of a mobility skill rather than an actual damage skill. The charging wind is important. This ability is your shift right click. Once you become higher levels, this one is going to have a lot more impact. You take it in the start to proc add-ons with it. This is what we use it for. And in PvP, in high end, we use it as an actual damage ability. In PvP, we don't use it in PvE whatsoever, only as a pop your add-ons kind of ability. But that is something else that is more in-game. That's not for now. The ultimate charging wind you take and you maximize it whenever you can, all the time. Always go for the ultimate charging wind, because it is your shotgun, and your shotgun is going to follow you from whenever you can take it, and you're going to use it for the rest of your gameplay on the ranger. You're going to maximize it as soon as you can. The tearing arrow is your in-game ability that does the most damage for you, both in PvP and PvE for the matter. Your tearing arrow you're going to take and maximize. I would wait after 55, because that's where the damage starts to get better, but prime is where it real takes on. Once you become succession, your tearing arrow is the best. You need to maximize it quickly. The blasting gust you're gonna take whenever you can. Again, it also have a prime version, and you should absolutely take the prime version of the blasting gust whenever you can. Another thing here to notice is that it has this prime ultimate blasting gust. This is another ability for succession. I'm gonna cover succession real quick in a minute. The will of the wind here is another ability that I maximized from lower levels. Just beware of your mana, as it burns your mana like crazy, but it is a decent ability. I maximize it from the start whenever I can. The penetrating wind is an ability you use after certain abilities. It is a little bit more advanced, and for a lower level ranger that tries to level up, I wouldn't really care too much about it. If you want to experiment, if you feel like you have the ranger under control, look into the penetrating wind. It is a very interesting ability. Use it a lot in PvP, but not too much in PvE, but you still use it after certain abilities, like the tearing arrow, for example. But I would go and look in my more advanced PvE guide for that to figure out what you use this for. Descending current is a maximize as soon as you can get the ultimate descending current, as it's not before that your damage is going to start doing anything. Basically, awakening abilities you get once you become succession. Basically, you take them ASAP, of course. Down here, dagger of the wind, I lock it. I lock the crescent kick, round kick. In the start you can lock it, sure, but later on you gotta experiment with this. This is a more advanced for PvP, so look into this ability later. It's called the kick cancel. For now, I would say lower levels, lock it. You don't need it. It doesn't do any damage, so kicking the enemies doesn't do anything. Dash kick, lock it. You really don't need it. Call of the Earth out here. For lower levels, you don't need it. For later on, sure, it's a good ability. It gives you accuracy for 20 seconds. Down here it's quite obvious. You take these whenever you can, but you can't take them before your succession. Once you become succession, things is changing quite a bit. Once you become succession, you need to maximize your prime tearing arrow. Tearing arrow is your bread and butter ability, how you use it and where you use it, and so on. I advise you to see my PvE guide for that. What you else need to maximize as a newer ranger still grinding skill points is Descending Current. Prime Descending Current is one of the best AoE abilities in the entire game, I honestly believe. This ability is crazy, and once it becomes prime, the damage on it is quite frankly going up. Another ability that I recommend you to maximize first is your ultimate charging wind, because this is shotgun. And shotgun is again one of the abilities that you're going to use a lot. Another one is your blasting gust. Blasting gust, again, like you saw before, you use it all the time, just when you go forth and back. Maximize it, the damage can become pretty decent. And a thing you need to remember is to take the prime ultimate blasting gust. This is two different abilities. The prime ultimate blasting gust is like a big cone in front of you. It hits like the entire screen, and it does a lot of damage in PvE. You use it basically every time it's off cooldown. And after that, I would prioritize my evasive explosive shot here for the mobility that it gives you, and your charging wind as well, as I don't really see why you would maximize your charging wind before you start to get to the end game. It doesn't really do too much except for your add-ons. So if you have the points for it, maximize it. Otherwise, I would wait. It's more of a PvP ability and an add-on proc ability. It is tier 3 add-ons though, so it's quite important in the later game. Penetrating Wind is also an ability you can max out if you have the points, sure. But if not, then wait with an ability like this. It is not that good in PvE. especially not lower levels. I wouldn't put too much thought into it. You can take it and put it down on your hotbar if you really want to and press 4. That's really not how you use it. That's quite weird, but you're gonna learn that later on whenever you get a little bit more into the Ranger class. If you want to know a little bit more advanced about how I'm using this to code it all together and to grind and how to use one skill after another, I advise you to see my PvE guide that I made a few months ago. I hope this helps out a little bit for the lower level rangers, what abilities to use, why and when, because some abilities in the lower levels just doesn't do any damage, and I don't know why. Thank you for watching. See you all in the next video, and remember, if you want to support me, you can hit the subscribe button, or you can check out my Twitch. I am streaming almost every day, so thank you. Take care.